Welcome to Storycraft Portal, where every tale hides a secret, and every secret leads to a deeper truth. Today, we unravel one of America's most chilling and unresolved mysteries, the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. In 1975, Hoffa, a powerful labor leader, left for a meeting and was never seen again. No calls, no clues, not even a body. What happened to him? Was he silenced by the mafia? Is he alive, hidden away? Or is he buried beneath the earth, along with the truth? This isn't just the story of a missing man. It's the story of power, betrayal, and a voice that shook the system. Get ready, because what you're about to hear has been buried for nearly 50 years until now. July 30th, 1975, a hot summer afternoon in Detroit. Jimmy Hoffa, once the most feared and respected labor leader in America, stepped out of his house wearing a navy suit, determined and sharp as ever. He was headed to a meeting at the Machu's Red Fox restaurant, a place that would soon become the epicenter of one of the biggest mysteries in American history. Hoffa told his wife he'd be back by dinner. He never returned. Hours passed. Vonnis hang unansweert. A man with power, enemies, and secrets had simply vanished. No signs of struggle. No witnesses who remembered seeing anything strange. Just an empty car in the parking lot and a storm of silence. What happened in that gap between 2:45 p.m. and 3:30 p.m.? Who was waiting for Hoffa? Was a meeting real or a trap? And most hauntingly, why did no one hear a thing? This was only the beginning. By evening, worry turned to dread. Hoffa's wife called the police. The car, a green Pontiac Granville, was found locked in the restaurant parking lot. Inside, nothing but a few papers. No blood, no struggle, not even a fingerprint out of place. It was as if he had simply dissolved into the air. FBI agents swarmed in, questioning staff, diners, even people walking their dogs nearby. But no one saw him leave. No one saw him arrive. One truck driver claimed he saw two men approach Hoffa at 2:45 p.m., but couldn't identify them. The restaurant had no cameras. No one heard a sound. Then came the whispers. Names like Tony Provenzano and Anthony Giacalone, known mob figures Hoffa was supposed to meet. But they denied everything. Was this a mob hit cloaked in silence? Or had Hoffa trusted the wrong man at the wrong time? Every minute ticking by buried the truth deeper. The next few days were a media frenzy, but behind the scenes, the FBI focused on two names, Tony Pro and Tony Jack, men with blood on their hands and loyalty to the mob. Hoffa had history with both, bitter feuds, prison time, betrayal. But still, he agreed to meet them. Why? Was it desperation to reclaim his power in the Teamsters Union? Or did he believe the past was truly buried? Investigators traced phone calls, piecing together a timeline. The Tonys denied the meeting ever happened. Lie detector tests, surveillance. Nothing cracked. Not one of them flinched. Someone was lying, but the lies were laced with power, fear, and silence. The deeper the FBI dug, the more they found whispers of a clean job. A hit so perfectly executed, no mess was left behind. Could Hoffa have walked into a death meeting, thinking it was a reunion? Weeks turned into months. Leads dried up. But then, a breakthrough. A federal informant claimed that Hoffa was lured with a promise. His seat back at the top. It was bait. The Tonys feared Hoffa's return. He knew too much. He talked too loud. And worse, he didn't fear them. The FBI began reconstructing the possible route Hoffa took that day. From his home to the restaurant, then silence. A local witness mentioned seeing a maroon Mercury Marquis speeding away around 3 p.m., carrying three men. Could Hoffa have been forced into that car? Was the meeting spot just a staging area for a planned abduction? FBI dogs later picked up Hoffa's scent in a car linked to a known mob associate. But again, no blood, no body, no proof. Just a ghost trail. And behind every turn, another locked door. What could scare so many people into silence for so long? The FBI turned to the underworld, flipping low-level mobsters, offering deals for whispers. One man finally cracked. Hoffa broke omerta. He talked too much. According to the source, a blood oath had been taken. Hoffa must disappear. Not just die, disappear. A few called it poetic justice. Most called it fear. Rumors spread that his body was ground up, buried under a stadium, or incinerated at a mob-controlled crematorium. But no site ever proved conclusive. The idea was chilling. A man so influential, so feared, erased without a trace. But then a letter arrived at a Detroit news station, anonymous and signed, postmarked from Nevada. "He's not where they say," it read. "You're looking in the wrong state." A taunt? A clue? Or a distraction to shift focus away from the real grave? The clock was ticking, but the silence around Hoffa was getting louder. With the letter's warning in mind, agents expanded their search beyond Detroit. Nevada, New Jersey, even Florida, all became potential grave sites. Every lead was a new rabbit hole. Meanwhile, a retired mob driver came forward. He claimed he drove a sealed 55-gallon drum across state lines the night Hoffa disappeared. Said he didn't ask questions, but he remembered the weight. Investigators traced the route, an old mob-owned landfill in New Jersey. They dug, found dozens of drums, but none with Hoffa. Some were filled with construction waste, others animal remains. Still, the driver's story felt too detailed to ignore. The FBI couldn't confirm it, but they couldn't dismiss it either. And now, rumors swirled that someone else knew the truth. An old teamster in prison, on his deathbed, requested to speak. He claimed, "Hoffa's not 6 feet under. He's deeper." Was that a metaphor or a map? The deeper clue led investigators to a now-demolished industrial site, once owned by a mob-connected concrete company. Rumor was Hoffa's body was encased in concrete, literally built into America's highways. A forensic team scanned the foundation of a former union hall. Ground-penetrating radar revealed a human-sized anomaly beneath the concrete. Excavation began. The media buzzed. But when the slab was lifted, it revealed nothing. No bones, no blood, just broken hopes. Still, the theory refused to die. The mob had built cities. They could bury a man in plain sight. The concrete theory terrified people. Hoffa, a man who once held America's workforce in his palm, may now hold up its highways in silence. Just as the FBI considered closing the case, another voice emerged. Hoffa's foster son. "They never found him," he said, "because they weren't looking in the right building." What building? He wouldn't say. He was too scared. The foster son finally agreed to talk. Off record, no cameras. He revealed Hoffa had kept journals, private records of meetings and enemies, hidden in a locker rented under a fake name in Chicago. The locker was found, emptied years ago, but one page remained, wedged between the wall panels. On it, 3 names, all dead now, except one. A mob enforcer named Ralphie the Rat DiMauro, long thought to be dead. But records showed a man with his alias bought a farm in upstate New York months after Hoffa vanished. The FBI paid a visit. The farm was cold, quiet, and fortified. Ralphie denied everything, until they mentioned the journal. Then, his face broke. He whispered, "If I talk, I won't see tomorrow." But before they could return, the house burned down overnight. Ralphie was gone. No body, no cruz, just ash. But someone had listened and was cleaning up. One final tip came from an old fisherman who claimed his father had worked for the mob. He told of a night in 1975 when a boat left a Detroit dock carrying a barrel. The lake was calm. They said he'd never float back up, the old man muttered. Sonar scans of Lake Erie began. In a deep, uncharted pocket, divers discovered rusted barrels, many empty. One was sealed. It was raised. The entire country held its breath. Inside, decomposed remains, clothing fragments, and a gold ring with the initials JH. The FBI wouldn't confirm identity immediately. But the ring matched a gift Hoffa's wife once mentioned in an interview decades ago. Had the lake finally given it back? Was this truly the end, or just another planted clue? Before results could be released, the evidence lab suffered a mysterious break-in. The ring was gone. Someone still didn't want the truth found. Months passed. The case stalled again, until an anonymous tape arrived at FBI HQ, grainy footage. A man tied to a chair. His face, unmistakable. Jimmy Hoffa. He was alive, in that moment. The date stamp, July 30th, 1975. Behind him, a calendar, a clock, and a voice, off-screen, calm, cold. You made your choice. Then static. Forensics confirmed. Real tape, untouched. The footage had been buried in a private estate, seized in a tax case. But the identity of the voice, still unknown. Some say it was Tony Jack. Others believe it was someone higher, above the mob, above the law. The FBI closed the case, not because it was solved, but because too many doors led to power no one dared confront. Hoffa's body was never found, but the message was clear. Some disappearances aren't meant to be solved, they're warnings. And Jimmy Hoffa, he became the loudest silence in American history.